I'm back with more Prokofiev 6, first movement. Things are developing. Let's see. Oh yes. We've reached the point where we've done with all these... No, we never reached the point where we're done with anything. Let's see. I'm at measure 146, called pugno. I still have this constant decision to be made about pedaling. For example, 147. I'm going to be playing a quarter note in the right-hand thumb, a whole note on the fifth finger, and then I have to move up here. So some kind of pedaling has to take place. That's without doubt. If I go for the clarity of the sostenuto pedal, at this point when the B is no longer sounding, I stick down the foot, and we've got it. What was bad about that one is I caught my thumb note. Off thumb. It's almost like being an organist. Not quite. Again, if it has a rhythm. Off. Down. Off on two. Down. Nope. There we go. It aids me to use the octave with 1/4 in the left hand because then I can go and comfortably get back to the B more accurately. Pardon me. I have to decide between Prokofiev's hand division and otherwise. On 146, he's got left hand, which is very reasonable. But because he's got that other division in the next measure, at least I assume he has. He may not. I like the consistency, the parallel. I can do all of that actually in the right hand, so it's, that may very well be one reason why his preceding dotted quarter note is a dotted quarter, because then I'm able to play with the right hand. So finger. There we go. Ultimately, this little coordination won't be something I have to think about, but right now it's complicated. Notation I sometimes make when I see clusters or difficult to read chords, if I can describe what they're going to feel like on the keyboard, that helps. So these three notes, they're a whole step apart. They're all black notes. So I write bl for black. So fingering, again, it could be arbitrarily played any number of ways, but I'm going to go 1, 5, 4, 5, 3, 5, 4, 5, 2, just because I consider that a learning fingering. It enables me to feel the shape and melodic changes in the chords. So rather than doing this, which might be stronger, and then shifting, I just choose to stick with where I am and like it. Boy, how consistent he is. I'm a little curious about this A figure. It appears in measure, well, of course, at the beginning, it appears on CE. But here, developmentally, it appears in measure 117 on FA, then a few measures later, here, 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 here. And then even, a lot of the time in the middle. So, it's one of the things Prokofiev seems to like to do. I noticed in the Prokofiev 7th that I've played, he has a reiterated figure that almost has a pedal point quality to it. It's not just one note recurring, but it's a figure within that melodic context or place, so it has a centering quality. And he's not moving this. I mean, he's moving from register to register, but it's always same intervals, the same pitch names. FA going to E flat G going to, so it has a recognizable identity no matter where it is, and it binds this whole section together. So here we have, let's see, these elements of the second melody, of the second theme. And these are sometimes decorated. In this case, and I had mentioned before the break, this chromaticism here. Now, I have some choices to make. This is doubled in both. A moment ago, I played the melody in right-hand octave. The question is that worth it? Perfectly fine. Gives me a little more shaping quality. But I do have to remind myself, all these third notes and the fourth notes in the left hand are all second fingers to get me to the thumb. Almost always. I hate to be that specific about my generalizations. I like to take the first of the repeated notes and approach it, find out how I got to it. The second of the repeated notes begins the exit to something else. So it's here, then go to there. So. That's an E flat. Prokofiev or someone has been very nice to draw straight lines to show the melodic connection that that's the theme. Straight lines just connecting right hand with left hand, right hand with left hand, just in case you didn't see it. So. Okay, so I have to analyze this scale, both from a note perspective and a fingering perspective. Well, that sounds awfully E-flatty. Let's see. Oh, surprise, surprise. I thought initially that it was repetitive. Maybe it is from here. It is. So the E flat is exceptional. It's E natural all the rest of the way. Written like a pianist. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops. Then it finishes on 3, but 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just drawing lines to indicate that the groupings end on the beat each time. Okay, one concern here. If I do 2, then I can't hold that note. It's written as a quarter note. It's the only one. Problem. So I could do 2, 1, 3, 4, 5. It's a slightly odd sensation, but it takes care of holding the note without concern. Oops. We also have held notes with treble. Here we have an octave in the left hand, E octave. He asks you then to hold it and play B. I don't think he means that. Even if he could reach it, I can reach it, but it seems more treble than it's worth. So. The pedal. And what I didn't notice, that we actually have a grand pause consisting of 1 whole eighth note. Oh. No, that's no good yet. Rather like that. 2, 1, 3, 5. Excuse me. 2, 1, 3, 4. Yep. You need this beat. E flat is the melody. Careful here. This is either pedal, which I'm not crazy about because there's so much thick scale writing above it. So if I go to 5, I can reach, but I do need significant swing in my arm. is one of those ones where it's a composer's intention, but not the literal instructions that I think I have to take to heart, and one does. In the left hand, he's got quarter, dotted half, dotted quarter. This dotted quarter is going to be followed by that. So officially, he's saying hold the B flat to the end. Do I want this sonority? I'm not convinced. So more likely, I'm going to create a eighth note rest. Not because I want the eighth note rest, but because that's what my body will do if I let go of the bass note. So the reason I kept running out of room in the scale is because this grouping flies in the face of what my hand is used to when it feels a sort of E flat-y scale. So normally I would be turning off black notes to white notes, and I do that once every octave, but not the other time when I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4 with C sharp on this group. We have that A motive in a different place. Well, I take it back. It's disguised. It's still there. So that the lower voice here becomes the upper voice in the left hand. So I'm experimenting with what works best in the left to get the same result. And 1, 3 to 2 going to 1, 4. The fourth finger draws me into the black note. It's played almost without finger articulation, rather with arms tossing hands. Good. Now, one of those half notes. It's a melody half note, just like in a Bach harpsichord work, where the duration is a spacer between two other notes. Very often the sound decays so quickly on the harpsichord. So if you take what Bach would literally, or close to literally, be meaning on the organ, on the harpsichord it's just, okay, between these two notes is this half note or this whole note. Now, here we have a half note going to there. Meanwhile, you're doing this and this. So the question then becomes, who's minding the half note? Here it doesn't matter. I can let go. I can get extraordinarily fancy. I might just do that. Because I have a eighth note in the right hand here, there's time. Like that solution. Otherwise, I'm doing that. I'm pedaling. Even if I could sostenuto pedal. Actually, there's plenty of room for that. Okay, I'm going to do that. Yes, sostenuto. left foot. Why is that holding? Okay, so I have to, in this case, I have to trust. My piano is betraying me. This E flat has no reason for holding, and I've got the sostenuto down on this middle D flat. You hear that? So I will investigate and see why. Okay, that's on my list of things to investigate, or have someone else investigate. Stop it. Okay, and my fingering for my left hand is going to be 2, 1, 3. Longest finger, right at the bottom of the keyboard, the last black note. So that's where my extension of my arm is the greatest, greater than going to A, because it's further into the key. 2, 1, 3. Really, if my hand were tilted this way, actually the fingers would be exactly in order, but it feels good this way. 1, 2, 3 would not feel good. 2, 3, 4 would not feel strong. So 2, 1, 3 feels best. We're going to pretend we don't hear that E flat. So, onward. Okay, remembering the alternating. He's bringing that back in here. The alternating figure from measures 24. Only it's not alternating. In other words, yeah, so the chromaticism happens in the right hand all by itself. And let's see what comes. Now he still has his theme, only he's displacing it rhythmically. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see what happens to it. I expect that, but I don't have it. Okay, just that amuses me. There's a arpeggio, and that uses exactly a diminution of the figure that we expect, and then he reiterates. That's very, very nice, very ingenious. So, this is a spacer in essence. Okay, let's see what happens in the left hand. Okay, I'm going to just notate 2, 5. The left hand helps me with turning the. Well, when you have 3 octaves, you can either group the first 2 and then the second one, or you can have the first one then the next 2. You can also go 1, 5, 5 or something like that, or 2, 1, 5, and I've got to determine what works for me. Right now, I'm enjoying 0.215 because I have a generalization that I use often, and that is that I want the last of several hand groups, the one that ends a passage, to make me most comfortable, to make me feel that when I get to that I can complete the gesture with a sense of ease, often with more notes in one hand position, for example. And that's exactly what happens here. If I start with the octave, and then I have to think about the last key to press all by itself, I don't have a hand position to depend on. In this case, maybe the most pragmatic thing is to recognize that if I try it two ways and one way works better, I don't even need an explanation. Now, I am a teacher, so I try to look for explanations. But the best explanation is if it works for you, that's what you do. So long as it works for you with minimum pain, with maximum comfort, it's dependable, and especially it's duplicable. Because if you can't duplicate it rather consistently, then it's not a good solution. It's a solution that makes you feel it only works when you're lucky, and you do not want to stride on stage feeling, I hope I'm lucky today. Okay, another nice thing is, because even though the right hand is non-legato, you use the octaves to help tell you where your second note is each time. So my left hand fingering is almost good enough for me to not have to look where I'm going. If I take enough time, when I'm playing this without the score, of course I can, that improves my accuracy. Okay. Okay, the left hand contributes differently intervallically. The right hand is a 3-note scale plus a third, and then a fourth apart. Repeats every octave. Left hand, a third, a major third, whole step, and a minor third. Then a scale. So I could go 4, 3, 2, and 2. Prokofiev has indicated an alternating. So if I want to do that and don't want to stretch here, I can put my sostenuto pedal down. Whoops. Nothing worse than pushing down the wrong pedal and hoping for a certain result that you never get and wondering. That's really easy. So that's what I'm going to do. Yes. And I'll write down the fingering that I just stumbled upon, which is to say, it's easy and it's automatic and it comes right away. So it's 1, 2, 1, 4, 1, 3 probably. Or, yeah. There's the melody. Ya, da, da. Okay, here we are back to our creepy chromaticism. Only all in the right hand. And a little fancy rhythm with a couple of 8th notes thrown in for good measure. Wanting to make sure I'm reading this right. Okay, so make sure I have the second finger. We'll also. Oh, I misread that. C, D, E flat. It's a it's a smaller chord than I gave it credit for. It looked strangely bigger. I put second finger on G before that chord. And then it's right there. No, that's not right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. displacement there. Luckily, the right hand has it all in the same register, so it's easy to hear there. The left hand just reinforces it. Well, I take it back. The left hand also has that, but because of the octave displacement, it wasn't as obvious to me. It's bottom of the chord, top of the next chord, bottom, top, top. So, as a result of that, I'm going to stress where those registers interact rather than the hopping up and down. So, the lower register, in other words, accuracy. I rather suspect, at least initially, I'll be looking at the keyboard to make those work. There we go. Relates thematically. Okay, that sounds reasonable. I guess I should play both hands to see what might be hidden. Accent, not accent, accent, accent. Okay, so what Prokofiev has chosen to isolate in the right hand. Okay, I've got to go with what he wrote. Lots of choices. Fingering wise, D flat F, because it's down low, I would normally go to 5-1 or 5-2, but because I prefer the feel of it, I think I'll go to 4-1. 1-4. So it goes from 5-2 to 5-4-1. That's nice. For the same reason, I could go to 5-3 on E flat G. It's so much more comfortable to go 3-1. That flinging my hand there, using those optimal fingerings, just makes me swing more easily and makes the arrival that much more comfortable. So I'm going, if I counted from 173, 5-2, 5-2, 5-2, 4-1, 4-1-3, 4-1, 5-2, 4-1 or 5-1 on the bigger seventh. But notice the right hand is, everything is there. I'm going to learn it by feel. So that it'll enable me to make the leaps in the left hand much more comfortably with the aid of my vision. So let me see. What I'm going to do is try to not look at my right hand part at all. Oops. That makes it much easier immediately. Contrary motion in the two hands. I'm going to make sure I'm reading right. This looks like a C sharp, an F sharp, E sharp. And because my ears don't know whether to accept it, that's just not familiar enough to me. Glissando. How much? Only this far? Okay. I actually see a fingering mark for this glissando. It says 3. So, but I need, as in any glissando, or most glissandos, a clear sense of arrival. So I need to reapproach the keyboard for that 5th finger. It aids me not to look at that 5th, but to look at the octave below it. Much easier, because then I fling my hand, not my finger, to the key. Okay, let me see again. That's beautiful feel for the hand. Couldn't be better. Thumb on a white note, and the 3 black notes, 2, 3, 4. 7, and then back to chromatic. Okay, let's see how that fits with the right. Well, first, let me see the right. Repeat. Good. I love repeats. Okay, it's just making horizontal what was vertical, splitting up those chords. Okay. Variations on the same idea each time. Same glissando. Okay, that's different. So, looking for my handy dandy pencil. Here it is. Odd, where we had G sharp before, we had G natural. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he hasn't notated mathematically how many notes there are here. I just have to notice on my own. It's 3 repercussions, or 3 noodles to the next one. And it ends on thumb, or it ends on the bottom note in any of them. Now here, I think, rather than counting, it's just fingering. If I go 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, my hand runs out. So long as I'm playing the right notes. 1 black note, then a bunch of white notes. Feels very nice, as you might suspect from a pianist composer. Pedal can help, it's all quarter notes. 1, 5, 2, 4, 1, 5, 1, 4. 1, 4 going to 1, 5, 2, 4. How did I end up on the wrong notes? Why didn't you tell me? And then a lift. He takes that A motive, brings it in against an undulating piano. There is a fourth. Okay, so he, not unlike, I think this is, for me, a direct quotation from the separation of the early chord and a moment later. So it's that's very nice. Let me see what's going on in the bass. Okay, this is all non-legato, this is all legato. So we have, if I pedal it, of course, I completely negate that distinction. So I could pedal legato in both hands. Interestingly, he's written a legato. Now to me, this is just plain suspect, because when he plays it again, it's all under a slur, all under slurs. There's no particular reason for 1.5 measures to be without a slur. And it's all piano, and so I'm going to use my artistic license and powers as an interpreter to say, I think that's a typo, or an oversight, publishing error perhaps. And I will have to, I'm going to write the word research here to indicate that I should look this up and see if I can find anything else about it. Okay, this is fine. the fun of going two. This is in 200. 2 1 1 1 2 1 1 1. And just stick with the hand position. Again, I get much more power not having a straight fingering, but rather something like 3 1 2. I was using 3, and it's ever so slightly, for me, less comfortable and less dependable. Just experimenting. I'm going to go 1 5, 1 4, 1 2. It was 3 2 1 I used. Let's see when I had that figure before. And where was it? Black notes, black notes, black notes, black notes. And then 3 1 2. Well, let's see how it's different this time. Black notes, black notes. Did I really do 3 1 2? 1 3. That's the problem with just saying something and not thinking about it. 3 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 3 2 1 1 3 2. Check that out. That can't be right. A flat to F sharp. Okay, so that's a diminished third. And then G. Okay. Easier for me to fling off of those 3 2 1s to 2 3. Based on whether it's a black note or a white note, I'm going to go to 2, thumb, go to 2, go to thumb, go to thumb, go to 2, go to thumb, go to 2, go to something like that. The same finger I finish a group on, if the group itself has a freeing gesture. Admittedly, Prokofiev has made the very specific distinction between the notes on the page. The 2 secondary notes are staccato. The beat note is a triplet. No, not triplet, an 8th note by itself, not legato. So it's non-legato because it can't be linked with itself. It's the same pitch. So it's still going to be short. But he's giving a little length, so it's both dynamically and agogically an accent. without too much thinking. So I don't mind. I'm going to one. I just have to remind myself of them. One, go to two. Yep. I'm letting my body decide. And now. Twice in a row, because it feels good. Nice. And the right hand joins in. There's a ritenuto. And then we are fancy. And we're back. And this is our recap, a rather short recap, I must say, and a rather extended development, but it's been kind of fascinating. Another nice thing is, so far it doesn't feel threatening. In other words, it's interesting, it's challenging in all kinds of ways, but Prokofiev seems to have set up a reasonableness of the pianism, so that there's a sense that even though there's a lot of intensity, certainly a lot of jumping around, that keeping your wits about you and looking for solutions that really are comfortable, it's all available to you. That's a pianist composer at his best. We'll see. I don't see anything in the last 3 pages of this movement that would cause me to change my mind. We'll see later on in the other movements what other surprises or delights are in store. See you later.